Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
Has concluded.
The DMVSTREAM.COM player.
Sean Parker along with Nick Iverson.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to dig it out of the board. And they score!
And welcome to the Prep Zone, everybody, as part of DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Dave Owens, and I'm joined today by a good friend of the show, none other than Nick Eilerson. Nick, of course, you know this area very well from Richmond, went to UVA, working for the Washington Post, doing a lot of great work for them, and always a pleasure to have you here, man. We talk so much about football and basketball, but during the springtime, soccer is hot, isn't it?
That's right. That's my beat, and I'm sticking to it. So there's a lot of sports going on in the springtime, and I'm not familiar with too many of them as far as being like an expert, but soccer is my sport.
Soccer is your sport.
So we'll stick with that today.
Yeah, we're going to stick with soccer today. Let's set the table for the folks who will be watching us back home. This is what you're going to see on this show. Jam-packed show, soccer season in full go, like Nick the Quick just said. So we're going to talk about some games. Battlefield Forest Park, I know you're excited about that one. I am too. And we're also going to do our fast forward segment where we look ahead to a big matchup next week. And don't forget the Rebel Run Sports guys, sitting down with David Huckstein, athletic director at Colgan High School, which is being built as we speak. So they're very excited down in that Dumfries area. Now, where can you watch the show? Take a look at your screen right there. Of course, you can get this show on demand at all times, DMVSTREAM.com. You can also check it out on your local Fairfax Channel 10 on Thursday, Saturday, and Saturday again on a rerun. So that's 10 o'clock Thursday, and then you got 6:30 on Saturday morning, and then we'll re-air it again 6:30 in the evening. So, of course, we're going to be talking about a lot of soccer today, but we also do a lot of our work with lacrosse here. So let's take a look at some highlights of DMVSTREAM.com's relationship with Lacrosse Sports Network. It's an exciting network that we're certainly excited to be a part of. A 24/7 network dedicated to the sport of lacrosse. Take a look.
What's up, lacrosse fans? I'm excited to announce our new partnership with LacSportsNetwork.com, a 24-hour digital media network dedicated to covering the game of lacrosse, delivering thousands of hours of original programming, including live professional, collegiate, and amateur games. Now, those of you that already know about Synthesis Multimedia Productions and our platform at DMVStream.com, you know that our group has become the Mid-Atlantic's dominant force in providing live streaming of pro, college, and local high school sports. Now, in this new partnership with LacSportsNetwork.com, we'll be bringing you, the viewers, unprecedented live coverage of the Mid-Atlantic's most notable high school lacrosse programs, with matchups that include teams like Gonzaga, Georgetown Prep, Landon, Loyola Blakefield, McDonough, Boys Latin, Hill Academy, St. Paul's School, Culver, New Canaan, St. Stephen's St. Agnes, Collegiate School, and the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference Championship live from the University of Maryland. Now, in this series of 10 games, starting in early March, you can watch the best matchups live in HD with the state-of-the-art broadcast technology you've come to expect from us at Synthesis Multimedia Productions and DMVStream.com. Broadcasts will include a minimum of 5 HD camera angles, graphics, instant replay, live clock, live scoring, up-to-the-minute stats, and a 15-person crew, including directors, producers, camera operators, play-by-play color, and sideline reporters, all dedicated to creating a television-style broadcast experience that you can watch live right in the palm of your hand. To find out more about this project, go to LacSportsNetwork.com and start watching lacrosse right now.
All right, good stuff there. Welcome back, Dave Owens, Nick Eilerson from the Washington Post. Nick, let's get right into it with our weekly recap. And let's start with a game that I know you're excited about, Battlefield Forest Park, two of the better programs in the state of Virginia.
That's right. Pretty weird to see these two teams playing each other twice in one season. You've got Battlefield from the 6A North, Forest Park from the 6A South. Okay. The reason they did it, the coaches told me they just wanted to get their teams elevated as far as quality of competition, because they don't necessarily play the toughest conference schedules. So really cool to see these two powers from Prince William County battle it out on the soccer field twice in one season. The first matchup, we had Battlefield tied it up late, 2-2, but Forest Park, right after that goal, actually scored a goal from midfield. Brandon Clegg took a touch and quickly hit it all the way from midfield over the keeper for the win, basically.
You don't see that often. Wow.
So that didn't sit well with Battlefield, and a couple weeks later, last week, they met again, and Battlefield pulled this one out 2-1. Okay. So this was a game where Battlefield went up 2-0, and thanks to goals from Mike Daunt, as you can see there, the junior midfielder actually received an assist from his big bro.
Oh, okay. Brother to brother action.
That's
there.
right.
Okay.
Jack poked it through in the box, and Mike found an opening and kind of squeaked it through the far post. The spectacular goal was Brendan Hogan taking a ridiculous ball from Ryan Powell from the left flank. Okay. It was such a long, curling ball that Ryan actually went down right after he hit it and was writhing in pain because he had strained his hip flexor.
Oh, wow.
So he sent that ball in, and Brandon had a great first touch and just pounded it in the back of the net. But Ryan barely even saw it. He was just struggling with his hip. So it was a pretty cool goal for Battlefield. Forest Park responded with a goal of their own. Brandon Clegg has scored in 8 of these first 9 games this season. So he's a monster, real big. Going forward. Same with Nick Jackson. They have a lot of size going forward. Forest Park does. So.
Battlefield getting the win there. I know you see a lot of soccer in this area. I'll ask you this quick follow-up question. When you look at these two teams, do either one of them or both really have the ability to make a run maybe late in the season? What do you think?
I think they both do. Okay. They're fantastic teams. I mean, both only have 1 loss to this point. Battlefield has 9 wins already. Forest Park has 8. They're very well-equipped sides, both very deep. Forest Park has so much firepower going forward. I mean, they're probably the most talented team, top to bottom, in Northern Virginia right now, I would say. Like I said, some scary size between Brandon Clegg and Nick Jackson up top, but then you've got right behind him Lewis Long, the George Mason commit. Lewis is such a good player, can really get in behind defenses and has outrageous speed on the ball. So between those 3, that's a really good attacking trio. Okay. And they've just been very hard to stop. And Battlefield can really score as well. They don't possess the ball quite as well, but they know how to finish. They've got 39 goals through 11 games. So they really are a very efficient team when they do get their chances going forward. 2
of the better programs in Virginia. All right, that's our first game. Let's move on to game report number 2. Oakton versus Briar Woods. A little inter-county matchup there. We got Fairfax versus, Loudoun County. So certainly that was an interesting one. Oakton versus Briar Woods. Tell me how that one shook out.
Right. So Oakton and Briar Woods, this was a 6A team in Oakton that has played really well this season against a Briar Woods team from 5A. That's also very good. But a little more on the line for Briar Woods because they could actually pick up power points by playing a 6A team. I don't think Oakton was able to be in the same situation. But nevertheless, it seemed like Oakton was the more motivated side. They absolutely dominated this game. I was very surprised. Very seemingly evenly matched teams. And I think it was just mostly a case of Briar Woods sort of having an off day. They just didn't seem to get up for it for some reason. But Oakton on its home field really just worked the ball around so well. Very fluid on the ball, just moving off the ball as well, really capitalized on their chances. They could have finished a couple more even. It could have been 4 or 5-0 to be honest. So Briar Woods was sort of shell-shocked. I mean, they've had 5 shutouts.
Didn't come to play,
They've had 5 shutouts in their past 6 games. So good on defense, but then here they get beat 3-0. So it's just kind of an eye-opener.
Sure.
Nick Burton with the goal. Carson Kotka, great center mid, really dangerous moving forward in the middle of the park there. He had a goal as well. Oakton also had a goal from Justin Smith. So just a very all-around good performance. And then their center back, Mike Ku DiPietro, can never say his name right, is so solid in the back. He's like 6'5", absolute wall back there for Oakton, working alongside Tyler Morgan. So Oakton's a really good team. Even though they're so young, they're very surprising.
And I'm glad you had to say that name and not me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would have messed that one up. We're going to look ahead in just a second, but great to wrap up from you here in just a second. But we're going to look ahead to one game in just a moment. But before we do and get to that look ahead, let's take a look at more highlights of DMVSTREAM.com's partnership with USA Lacrosse. Take a look.
player to watch, number 1. We need number 3, Blue, with Kelsey for another 20 or so. Ready? Roll it. Ready, come back out to 2. Eating things done. Our third player to watch for the blue team today, it's number 5, Tyler Duff. Yeah, big lefty.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. All right, now, Nick, we're going to put you on the spot here. You've done a great job of recapping. Let's get ready for our weekly Fast Forward segment where we look ahead. We've already looked back. Let's look ahead to some of our great games. And we got a good one coming up here, Nick. Let's break this weekly Fast Forward segment down.
All right, so we got a rematch of last year's state championship between Langley and Madison. Now, this is an interesting matchup because on its face, you'd think Langley would blow them out. The defending state champion kind of handled Madison pretty well in that state title game, and they've played much better this season. They're unbeaten so far, 6-0-3, 3 ties, but 2 of those ties took place in the last week. Langley has been, they haven't been in great form recently, whereas Madison is sort of going in a different trajectory. Started off with 3 straight losses, had a very depleted roster with their injuries and graduating Stephen LaRoe, their leading scorer. So Madison really struggled to start off the season to sort of adjust to their new team here. Now, they've done a little bit better recently. Madison beat McLean 4-0 a couple days ago, so they're really playing well right now. They've got a couple guys back. John Dyson, their best defender, is back from injury from that MCL sprain, so he's going to be very key for Madison, as is Gunnar Almquist, the forward who's already scored.
Bottom line, Warhawks on the war path lately, so they're playing well. Always a pleasure to catch up with you, Nick, because you do a fantastic job. And I know as the playoffs come up, we're going to be talking to you a lot down the road.
Hopefully.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks
All
for
right,
having me.
time to turn it over to our Rebel Run Sports Gang, and they sat down with Dave Huckstein, the new athletic director over at Colgan High School. Guys, take it away.
Welcome to another very special edition of the Prep Zone on DMV Stream. I'm John Moore, joined as always with Rob G. and Papa. We're Rebel Run Sports, and today we have a very special guest, Mr. David Huckstein, the new Director of Student Activities at Colgan High School, set to open this fall. Welcome.
Thank you.
So David, kind of tell us about yourself. How have you gotten to this point?
Okay, well, I'm going to go back to the beginning of my teaching. It was more of, I started teaching at Woodbridge High School. I was an assistant basketball coach there. Very successful program. I left Woodbridge in '98 and moved on to be my own head coach of a varsity basketball team, boys, at Stonewall Jackson. In the middle there, I was also a half of the year. I was an interim athletic director at Woodbridge High School as we were phasing. One gentleman got a job and getting ready to hire someone else. Went to Stonewall Jackson, and after my 2 years as a basketball coach, I ended up getting into administration, and when the principal left, next thing you know, I'm the principal at Stonewall Jackson for 4 years, and I had the opportunity to move back to Woodbridge High School where it all started. I had been there for 8.5 years,
Very cool.
which leads me into this job where I just wanted to, after almost 14 years as a principal, try and close out my career doing something, just making a change. And this opportunity came up. It's right around the corner from my home. The principal, Dr. Healy, he and I worked at Woodbridge together, and he was also a coach, so it was just a great fit.
Great.
Well, tell us a little bit about the differences being a principal as opposed to being a DSA. What are some of the differences there?
Well, first of all, as you know, I'm in the school is just starting, so we're starting everything fresh. So I haven't got into the nitty gritty of the every night affair with the games and the fans and making sure officials are there. But from the outside looking in as a principal, I think a lot is on a principal's shoulders these days, and you just kind of wear that on yourself year after year. You're basically in charge of a city at the campus. And you go home and you start worrying about different things. And maybe I'm hoping as an athletic director, when I go home, I worry about the fields and the players, the student athletes, the coaches, and there's not this big responsibility on my shoulders anymore. But I will care and work all I can to make sure that Colgan is the best athletically.
Okay.
You have a unique opportunity coming into a new high school to kind of put your own stamp on what the school is going to be known for athletically. I mean, not just athletically, but overall.
Overall, right.
Well, talk about the excitement of that, and what's your kind of vision, as far as the athletic department? How do you want the school to be known?
Well, let's talk about the process. Dr. Healy has done a great job working with the community itself, getting students involved in the community, getting parents involved. But more importantly, he's involved the students in a lot of aspects of whether it was looking at the different logos and the different nicknames for the school. He's allowed the students to get involved in that, which that's how Sharks came about. I know you want to talk about that a little later, but he's also got them involved in some of the color patterns were already in the building at the time, so he's got the kids maybe choosing a third color. He had them do that. So the kids are excited. I'm working with the Booster Club from ground up, so think about all these things. You don't think about. You're starting a Booster Club from ground up.
Right.
Everything you're doing is basically from the ground up, things that you take for granted. But as far as athletic and as we move forward, I really want us to be, and I tell the coaches this because a lot of them ask me, well, what do you want us to be? What kind of coach do you want? And I want the kids to be in a respectful program. I want the kids to behave and act properly on the field. Wins and losses. Wins are great. If you're a winning team, that's awesome. But in these first 3 or 4 years, I want that to see the building blocks, right. and eventually, I want to become I want all our programs to be very good. Honestly, I just want to be able to. I want to not only compete, but I want to win and compete for district and region and state titles, and no pressure on the coaches, but that's what we're right. In the next few years. It'll be rough in the get-go here, but hopefully after the 3 or 4 years, we're going to start competing in all sports.
Good. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the building from ground up. Where do you start? As a DSA walking in, where do you start? Do you start with the colors? Do you start with the logo? Where do you start to build the athletic department?
Okay, so I got on board right after the holidays, so right around January 4th. So if you think about it, the first thing I did when I walked in the door, we had color scheme. Okay. I think the kids were getting ready to pick the third color. We had the nickname at the time. So my job, basically, when I walked in was twofold. One is I actually sent an email, even though the VHSO members knew me from being a principal, told them what I was doing as a DSA. I sent my name and to the officials, all the officials said, hey, I'm the new DSA. And from there, to be honest with you, you had a deadline of 3 weeks to order uniforms for fall to get a discount so we could save some money right at the get-go. So the first 2 or 3 weeks was the uniforms, getting them all marked up, getting them ready to go for all the fall sports, and then right after that, immediately after that, it was the equipment for the fall sports.
Wow.
So and then as soon as the equipment was finished, I was rolling into interviews, and I chose to interview, basically taking I basically took the Band-Aid and ripped it off and just said I'm taking the next week and a half and we're going to interview for all of our sports, and it just meant long days and nights and weekends, but I think it was worth it at the end. So and then after that, what I've been doing is working with each coach now for the winter season and starting to, we're going to start rolling into that as well. But and then, of course, you're now creating your schedule for the next year, and now you're the school on the outside looking in because it's the second year of a cycle, and you're trying to get your games in where you can. You're basically the in down our way. And everybody's bye week now is Colgan High School.
Sure.
So and making sure we're just finished our fall schedules. We just finished our winter schedules and for next year. So that's about as far as we got in there. And then of course DSAs, bless them. As a principal, I understood what they do. When you sit in that seat and you see that you're putting all these schedules into one program, and then the officials want it in another program, and it's just so it's tedious at times, but I'm enjoying it.
Good. Rivalries, huge in high school. We focus a lot on rivalries in what we do.
Right.
Now rivalries, as we know, are born on the field, and those will come.
Right.
But as far as proximity to the school, who's the crosstown school rivalry that'll be the natural rival, I guess?
Well, I'm going to probably guess, we're closer to Hilton High School and Forest Park High School, but a majority of our students are coming from Osborne Park High School.
Okay.
So I would guess that would be some sort of a natural rivalry, albeit they may not be they're not in our conference this next year, and when we flip back to calling them districts the following year, they probably won't be in our district either, but we'll be playing them. So I would say at some point Hilton, maybe Forest Park in the future.
Cool.
Well, and you're going into a conference with a lot of history.
Right.
Some that you're familiar with from Stonewall and Woodbridge. What is your goal for next year?
Well, all of our sports except football, we play in a varsity schedule. So I know that's tough out of the get-go. And I've watched all these schools. I've watched Hilton when it opened up. I've watched the Patriots and the Battlefields open up. I know it's difficult at first, but after that first year or two, you see that in improvement. You could see, I wouldn't be shocked if we're competitive in a few sports next year, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I really do think we're going to be competitive in certain sports. And it is nice that football starts out with a JV and a freshman schedule.
Right. Okay. Talk about the community outreach a little bit. How's that process going, and the importance, obviously, of the community embracing the new school?
I think not only that the kids are excited, I think the community is excited about this school. Anytime there's change, anytime there's something new, I see our community embracing this new school. I see it just in boosters alone. I had put a survey online. It was an Excel survey asking kids what sport they're interested in, to give me please put their name down, give me their contact information. Then I had a section for parents and see who would want to be involved in Booster Club. And I think I had over 70 to almost 80 parents sign up that they were interested in some way or form with the Booster Club. And that's really unheard of, to be honest with you. Yeah. So you could see that excitement in our core. I have a core Booster Club membership right now, the steering committee. Tonight's our first meeting, inviting another 60 members or so in. When they saw the logo, they all got excited. The logo just sort of has appeared. It hasn't come up on our Twitter page, I don't think yet. But they got the sneak peek, and they were all just excited. And their kids are sitting in another school right now, and they're all active members at some of the other schools on their booster clubs. So I know that the parents are excited. I know Dr. Healy's also working with a parent advisory group, and he's had a number of parents sign up for that as well. So it's just, to me, it's exciting. It has been rejuvenated me as an administrator.
Cool. So what are the school colors? We know you're the Sharks. What are the school colors?
So the school colors were kind of we have to call it, for our uniform purposes, we'll call it navy blue and kind of a gray, okay? And then the kids added in what, if you look on the website, it's kind of called a Caribbean blue, but if you're building a uniform, it's more of a light blue Carolina blue. So And our main colors are more of the blue and the gray, and then I'm trying to weave in the light blue here and there.
Cool. Very cool.
Yes.
And who designs the uniforms?
I design most of the fall uniforms, and
Okay.
when I got a coach, I said, you know, your uniforms are set. I'm allowing the winter coaches to take a look, and I've showed them what I had done previously, given them examples, and said, here, go ahead. I just need it by next date. Excuse me. So that's where I think they're having some fun as well. Okay. So there's a lot of pressure, you know, building uniforms without the coach there. I got to tell you that.
Right.
It's a big deal now.
It is a big deal. You know, you want to build it so the kids like the uniforms, and so you know, it's fun. A lot of these sites have now you just go in and build your own, so to speak. Yes.
Well, what's next in your process? You have 4 months left. What's next in your process?
I really am going to start getting. Before the end of July, I really want to order almost anything and everything else I need to order. So when July comes around, I'm not really messing around with. With the training room supplies and things that you really don't think about. Now, I want to say this. I do want to give a plug out to Brad Qualls, the AD at Patriot High School, because when they opened Patriot, he kept everything.
Yeah.
So it's been a joy to be able to look and see what they ordered and kind of work off that platform, so to speak.
Yeah.
So so my goal is, and just the last 2 days, I've been working with the training room exclusively, trying to work with different vendors there, and it's a lot. You know, when I received the binder, and the binder is about yay thick of the things that had to be ordered, and it is a process. But I'm glad I have the coaches now, and we go over everything. And I'm going to start ordering pronto now, because nothing will get delivered until about the second week of July to the school. When the second week of July hits, things are going to be flying into the school. We're going to need places for it. So, so that's next. And of course. We're still working on our football coach, so hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll be able to, you know, get back to you guys on that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, and of course, if you want to see the full interview, tune into DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Dave Owens. We'll see you next time.